you want to play a trap deck that requires more than 2 brain cells and flipping skill drain and Imperial Order? What's going on, guys? My name is Suzu from HeadtoHead Battles, and in today's episode, we're going to be going over Traptrix, an in-depth deck profile and combo tutorial, and kind of an in-depth analysis as well, alright guys? So, if you guys like content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell to join the squad, and comment down below if you agree or disagree with any of my tech choices or anything I say in this video. Also, we're going to be going over card by card, but if you still have trouble identifying the card, you guys can head over to Discord. We have a separate Master Duel section with the deck list section where you can find this exact deck list. And if you guys want to see the smaller nuances of this deck, you guys can head over to twitch.tv/HeadtoHead Battles, where I do play this deck live. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and actually, by the time you watch this video, I might already be live, so head over there, drop the follow, and say what's good. Without further ado, let's get into this deck profile. Alright, so let's quickly go over card by card, and then we'll go into our replays against meta. Alright, so the first card that we are playing is Maxi. By now, you already know what Maxi does. Whenever your opponent attempts to special summon, you can chain Maxi, draw a free card, and then if your opponent wants to take the Maxi challenge, they can. Alright, we're playing 2 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. This card is a catch-all hand trap, and it stops most decks. Alright, now onto our Traptrix lineup. We're playing Traptrix Mermelio. Now this card is unaffected by hold normal traps, and when it's normal summoned, you can add a normal hold trap from your deck to your hand, and if you special it, you can target a spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy that target. Now it is a mandatory effect, so even if your opponent doesn't have any spell or traps, it will still activate, and that will come in handy in a little bit. Okay, next we're playing Double Dionea. This is kind of our OTK machine. So this card is also unaffected by whole normal traps. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. But when it's special summoned, you can target a whole normal trap in your graveyard and set that target, but banish it during the end phase of your next turn if it's still on the field, right? Now, to kind of counteract that effect, we have Traptrix Mantis. When this card is normal summon, you can add 1 Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand. It's unaffected by normal hold traps, and once per turn, you can target a set spell and trap you control, return it to the hand, and then set 1 spell or trap from your hand. So even if you have 1 spell or trap that was reset off of Dionea, you can add it back to your hand with Mantis and set it back, and it does not get banished. Alright, so cool interaction. Traptrix Vesiculo, we only play 1 of it, and this is our extender. So this card is also unaffected by whole normal traps. And what this does is you can send 1 set trap you control to the graveyard, and that's for cost. Special summon this card from your hand. If you control no cards in your spell and trap zone, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a 1 normal hold trap in your graveyard and set it to your field. So this is kind of our special summon if our normal summon does not stick. Now we're going to move over to Parallel XC. Now let's read this card together. This card says, if this card is special summoned by the effect of Parallel Exceed, so itself, its level becomes 4 and its original attack and defense become half. But we don't really care about that, right? And you can only use each of the following effects of Parallel Exceed once per turn. If you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone that link monster points to. Now, we do have a link one in the deck, and we'll kind of, see that in the combo as we, go through the replays, but let's read the second effect. This card says, if this card is normal or special, you can special 1 Parallel Exceed from your deck. So generally speaking, I'll normal summon a Traptrix monster, link it off for Traptrix Sarah, and chain Parallel Exceed in the hand after the link summoning is resolved, right? And then once it summons, it will summon itself and another one from the deck, both becoming level 4, and that matters once we get into the extra deck. All right, next we're playing 2 Nibiru. If our opponent summons more than 5 times, or 5 times or more rather, we can drop this fat rock on them. And generally we're playing 2 Ash and 2 Nibiru because we really want to see Maxi to draw the cards, and drawing into Ash and Nibiru definitely are really good. All right, next we're playing Pot of Prosperity. This card says banish 3 or 6 cards of your choice from your extra deck face down. That is for cost, and for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, any damage your opponent takes is halved. But we don't really care about that because we generally want to go first. Also, excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards banished, and add 1 of those to your hand. Place the rest on the bottom in any order. You can only activate 1, and you cannot draw cards by effects the turn you activate this card. So It does conflict with Maxi a little bit, but Pot of Prosperity is almost too good to not play in this deck, because the only times you lose is when you don't see a starter, right? A Traptrix monster. Next, we're playing our only brick in the deck, but we love to see it, is Double or Nothing. I'm joking. You never want to see this. This card says, when a monster attack is negated, target that monster. It can make a second attack during this battle phase, and if it does, its attack is doubled during the damage step only, and that's because we are playing the Utopia package, and we'll get to that later. Next, we're playing Double, Called by the Grave. We don't really care if our Traptrix monster effects don't resolve. All we really care about is getting Sarah on the field, and just like our Traptrix monster not dying immediately. So Called by the Grave is really good because it does stop Ash, Maxi, and whatever else that would hurt this deck. All right. Next, we're playing 2 Torrential Tributes. This card says, when a monster is summoned, destroy all monsters on the field. Now, our Traptrix Link monsters and our Traptrix Rafflesia are unaffected by trap cards, so it doesn't matter. Our monsters will stay, theirs will die, and it will trigger Sarah once it's resolved. All right, so next we're playing 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. This card says, when a monster that was special summoned this turn activates its effect on your opponent's field, negate that effect if you do destroy it. Next, we're playing triple the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. This is kind of really interesting because you can special summon this card in defense as a normal monster, but if I have no traps in my graveyard, I can activate it the turn it was set. So this will matter once we kind of get into our extra deck and once we kind of look at Traptrix Sarah. All right. The next card we're playing is 1 Floodgate Trap Hole. This card says, when your opponent summons a monster, change that monster to face down defense, and monsters change to face down defense by this effect cannot change their battle. So they literally can't flip it up forever. All right, so it'll be face down forever. Next, we're playing triple Infinite Impermanence. This card does conflict with Shade Brigandine, but it doesn't come up as much as you think it does. But this card says, I can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and negate its effects. If it was set already and then activated, it'll negate the spell and trap column that it was set in, but you can activate this from your hand if you have no face-up cards, right? Or rather, if you control no cards, which if you are going second, you most definitely will not. Next, we're playing Gravedigger's Trap Hole. This is the best trap card in our deck. This card says, when your opponent activates a monster effect in their hand, graveyard, or even in the banished, you can negate the effect, and if you do, inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent. Now, this deck does have a little bit of an issue putting out damage, but if you Gravedigger's Trap Hole your opponent 3 times, which, in this deck it's really easy to do, you're only dealing with 2,000 life points. And I've had games where, I've reset Gravedigger's Trap Hole and I've done 8,000 damage off of trap cards alone. All right. Next, we're playing the 1 Solemn Judgment. It could be a 3rd strike, or it could be we could be playing Triple Judgment. But Solemn Strike is just better because it's more proactive than reactive, right? Because you can set it to proactively do something instead of Solemn Judgment where, you have to reactively play it. But generally, Solemn Strike is definitely the better choice, especially, if you go second and set the strike. Going second set strike is more powerful than going second set solemn. All right. Our last card in the main deck is Imperial Order. We only play 5 spells, and generally speaking, they're all turn 1 spells anyways. So Imperial Order is definitely really, really good. All right, so let's move on to our extra deck. We are playing our 1 Utopia. This card says when a monster declares an attack, I can detach 1 material and negate the attack. So that's why we're playing Double or Nothing, and we're playing Utopia Double. So you're going to go 4 and 4 over for Utopia Double, and you're going to use Utopia's Doubles effect to detach a material, add Double or Nothing from the deck to the hand, and then it will summon Utopia for you, and then you can do 5,000 damage, because Utopia Double will give Utopia 5, it will double its damage, and then Double or Nothing will double its damage again. So it'll go from 2,500 to 5,000 to 10,000 damage. All right. One of our more powerful Xyz in the deck is Traptrix Rafflesia. Let's read this card together. This card says it's unaffected by trap effects while it has Xyz material. Traptrix monster you control except itself cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. Your opponent cannot target Traptrix monsters you control except Rafflesia with card effects. And once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card and send 1 normal hole trap card that meets its activation conditions from your deck to the graveyard, and this effect becomes that trap card's effect when the card is activated. So it's really, really nice, and you can send any of the 3 normal hole traps that we do play. All right. Next, we're playing number 41, Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir. So basically, just TLDR, this card, if you summon it in defense, All your opponent's monsters will be set to defense and their effects are negated. That's all you have to know. The next card we're going to be taking a look at is Time Thief Redoer. Now, this card is really good because, again, it's 2 level 4 monsters, and our Shade Brigandine is a level 4 when summoned, and all of our Traptrix are level 4s, all right? So what does this do? During the standby phase, you can attach the top card of your opponent's deck to this card as material. So you can attach a spell, monster, or a trap, right? Quick effect, you can detach up to 3 different types of materials from this card, then apply the following effects. So if you detach a monster, you can banish this card, or rather banish itself until the end phase. If you detach a spell, you can draw a card, and if you detach a trap, you can place 1 face-up card your opponent controls on the top of the deck. This card is really good and probably going to save your Petishkas more oftentimes than not, alright? Next, we're playing 1 AA Divine Arsenal Zeus. You basically... If your Time Thief Redoer has like 8 materials on it, because you've been just grabbing cards off the top of your opponent's deck, you can literally make an 8 material Zeus. So that's why we are playing this card, okay? Next, we're playing the 1 Link Spider. Basically, we need 1 normal monster, which our Shade Brigandine is, because it's a normal monster. That's what the card says, right? Now, on to our main boss monster, Traptrix Sarah. Let's read this card together. So this card says I need 1 non-link Traptrix monster. This link summon card is unaffected by trap effects, period. You can only use each of the following effects of Traptrix Sarah once per turn and not during the damage step, right? So, if a normal trap card is activated, you can special summon 1 Traptrix monster from your deck with a different name than the cards you control. So if you're going up against a back row deck, you can summon Mermelio and just start popping back row that way, alright? Now, if your other Traptrix monster's effect is activated, which Mermelio is a mandatory trigger, so it will, I can set 1 whole normal trap card directly from the deck. So, generally, this card nets you +2 in advantage every turn if a trap card is being used that turn. Now, the only downside is it needs to be a normal trap card and not like a counter trap. So you don't get the activation if your opponent uses like Solemn Judgment or Solemn Strike, but that's most of the time generally not the case. It's going to be Imperm that they use, and they will most of the time try to Imperm this card, and they'll go -1 while you go +2, so that's actually huge, all right? Now, the only other Link monster that matters in the extra deck is Traptrix Cularia. Let's read this card together. So it says, I need 2 insects and or plant monsters. This link summon card is unaffected by trap effects, period, and you can only use each of the following effects of Cularia once per turn. After you activate a whole normal trap card, I can set it back instead of sending it to the graveyard, okay? And during your end phase, you can target 1 Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense. So if you went Traptrix Sarah, summon Mermelio off a trap effect, Mermelio effect, pop a back row, you can link 2 into Cularia in an end phase, summon back that same Mermelio, and pop another back row because it's not once per turn. Alright guys, so I know that was a really lengthy deck profile, but let's go into the replays and kind of see how powerful this deck really is. Alright, so we're up against our first match against Jan. So he's going to set 1 and pass here, which is really good for us. Okay, so we're going to draw a card. We draw another Traptrix Whole Nightmare. We're going to summon Dionea. He chains Max C, and we don't really care. So we're going to swing for 17 and link it off for Traptrix Sarah, right? So we don't really care if he draws 1 here. I want to save my Ash for something else. We're going to set 3 and pass. Our opponent is going to start the turn off with Shaddoll Fusion, I believe. And then, now we have an Ash for Shaddoll Fusion. And if you're ever playing against Shaddolls, never let Shaddoll Fusion resolve, alright? That is really, really important, okay? So our opponent will now set 1 card and pass it back to us. Now, here's where things get a little bit spicy, all right? We draw another Gravedigger's, well, we draw a Gravedigger's Trap Hole, and we're not going to swing into that face-down Shaddoll because we do not need to, right? We don't want our opponent to net advantage. He's going to go with Shaddoll Dragon. We're going to Imperm the Dragon, which is in the same column as his set card, right? So he can't activate it anymore if this all resolves. Then Sarah will activate, allowing us, he'll chain Maxi, and here we're going to Gravedigger's Trap Hole, right? We're going to deal 2,000 damage to our opponent, and he just went -1, and I'm about to go +2 here. So the Traptrix Sarah will resolve, summoning us Mermelio, and Mermelio will activate, popping that back row for us, which is Schism, which is huge. Then Sarah will activate again, setting us another Gravedigger's Trap Hole, right? Now our opponent is going to swing into the Sarah, but we don't care because we already have a Traptrix name on the field, right? Now, we're going to draw off the top, Infinite Impermanence. We're going to go into another Mermelio, or another Traptrix Sarah here. And here's the really cool thing. We're going to activate Torrential Tribute. We're going to destroy his monster. Sarah doesn't die, but Sarah does get to activate. But Shaddoll Dragon, He's going to take another 2,000 off of Gravediggers because now he activated an effect in the graveyard, right? Huge. Now we're going to use Sarah effect, summon back a Myrmelio, and pop that last back row that he has. All right, and then our opponent should scoop here. So that was up against Shaddolls. Let's kind of go up against an even more powerful deck. All right, so we're in our second game, and this is Drytron, the oh-so-hated Drytrons. All right, we're going to normal summon Mantis, grabbing us Dionea. Dionea generally is the best choice here, okay? We're going to go into a Traptrix Sarah, which is our boss monster. We're going to set 4 and pass it back to our opponent. Now, there are some intricate plays here, and I'll show you why and the lines that we went. He's going to start the turn off by normal summon Diviner Sent Entis. He's going to use Entis target the Sarah. We're going to Gravedigger's Trap Hole to negate the effect and deal 2,000 damage to our opponent, right? And then I'm going to activate Traptrix Sarah, right? I'm going to activate Sarah. Why wouldn't I? He's going to go Herald of the Orange Light, pitching Ava, and we're going to call by the grave the Orange Light, because the only thing he can add off the Ava is another Diviner and Orange Light, right? He already normal summoned Diviner, and if he tries to Orange Light me again, it's going to be negated because it's under call by the grave. So we're going to summon the Dionea here. We're going to go Dionea effect, set the Gravedigger's Trap Hole back, which is huge. You know, definitely making optimal plays here. He's going to add Herald of Orange Light and Diviner. What do you know? Now we're going to activate Sarah's effect because Dionea's effect was activated. He's going to Orange here again, but it's negated by call by the grave. And Sarah will resolve, grabbing us another Gravedigger's Trap Hole here, okay? He's going to activate Cyber Emergency. We're going to flip Imperial Order, which, by the way, definitely a skill issue because I'm insane. And Cyber Emergency will not resolve, and at this point, my opponent can't do anything, and he needs to scoop right there because he would have gotten OTK next turn anyways. Now, if you still are not a believer, let's go up against an even better deck. All right, so we are going first. We're going to fire off a Pot of Prosperity, banishing 6. We need to see a name or we are not playing. We're in trouble. But, as always, I'm insane. So I see a name over on... I see a name, okay? It's Traptrix Dionea. We're going to add Dionea to our hand. Turn 1, that's our worst normal summon, but it's okay. We're going to make a Traptrix Sarah here, and we're going to chain Parallel Exceed in our hand. He's going to Gamma the Exceed. I let it go. It's fine. No big deal. I chained Maxi here because Gamma special summons, and I don't know why I didn't get to draw here. So that's kind of weird, but it's okay. Parallel Exceed dies. No biggie. We're going to set the Gravedigger's Trap Hole, pass. All right. Now you're thinking, Sushi, you're going to die. You're literally going to die. But check it. So he's going to go Qualoon. I'm going to Ash it. If you're playing Virtual Worlds, always Ash the Qualoon. Always. And if they don't have Qualoon, Ash the Lulu. But Ash one of those. Please do not Ash Etelli. He's going to activate King Long. He's going to go GG target King Long. We're going to Gravedigger's Trap Hole the GG. Right? So he can't use the GG effect anymore. And here's the cool thing. We're going to use Sarah effect, but not summon Myrmelio. If we summon Myrmelio, that King Long will get him an ad. So instead, we're going to grab Dionea and set Gravedigger's Trap Hole. I don't know why you maxed my Sarah, but okay. We're going to set another Gravedigger's Trap Hole. He's going to normal summon the GG, swing it to the Sarah. No big deal. We already have Dionea on the field, right? He's going to pass it over back to us. We're going to draw off the top a Traptrix Myrmelio. We're going to normal summon the Myrmelio, use Myrmelio effect, and he's going to scoop because he literally has no plays. Now, if we pop that King Long with Myrmelio, we might have had to play a couple of extra turns, but because we went the smart route, because we're insanely good at the game, we ended up taking the W. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell and comment down below if you agree or disagree with my tech choices or anything that I have said in today's video. Also, if you guys need the deck list, they are in our Discord. I'll have them in the description box down below. And if you need some, some of the smaller nuances and the play-by-play live, you guys can head over to twitch.tv/HeadtoHead Battles. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around 8 p.m. EST. We're probably streaming right now, so come by, say what's good. And one final word of advice. Love yourself as much as I love you, bro. Oh my God. This is Susu from HeadtoHead Battles, signing out.
What's up, guys? If you haven't subscribed, make sure to click that button right there in the middle.
Also, if you haven't watched that video that YouTube is recommending you, it's probably crazy, all right? Go watch it. This is Susu from HeadtoHead Battles,
HeadtoHead Battles,
signing out.